With the release of the new Dungeons & Dragons 2024 handbooks and the hype of the Minecraft movie, what better time to reimagine the Minecraft icon, Steve, as a D&D character?
I am Steve.
Now, there are multiple different ways to build Steve as a D&D character, and it will ultimately depend on your Minecraft playstyle. So in this video, I'll be providing you with 3 different character build options you can choose from, and which Steve build is best for a new D&D player to roleplay. But before we get started, I just want to put out there that this video is not a full step-by-step guide for these builds. I'm not going to read every ability or get too deep into the weeds explaining details. I assume that you either have the book in front of you, you're working with your DM, or you're just experienced in D&D character building that you're looking for some inspiration. Now that I have that out of the way, let's get turning Steve into a D&D hero. The 3 different builds that best fit Steve that I'm going to show you are Barbarian for the PvP combat-oriented Minecraft players, Ranger for players who like to explore the world, and Artificer for those crazy redstone players. But no matter which of these 3 builds you choose, there are going to be a few commonalities among them all. First off, each build will be for a level 5 character. Second, Steve is a human. There really is no debate here. Steve is a human in Minecraft, so therefore he'll be a human in D&D. I suppose if you really wanted to get weird, you could make him into an elf. But for the sake of this video, Steve is going to be human in all the build options. And because Steve is a human, we can choose an origin feat from the list on Chapter 5. The best origin feat is the Crafter, giving Steve a proficiency in 3 different artisan tools of your choice from the fast crafting table, and gives him the fast crafting ability. For my Steve, he'll be proficient in leatherworker's tools, smith's tools, and tinkerer's tools. Third, Steve is going to have the same origin and personality traits. As far as backgrounds, we have a couple of options that can best fit Steve: farmer, guide, or hermit. But the one that I think fits the best is the guide background. Fourth, Steve will have the same skills and tools among each build. A pickaxe, axe. I mean, you really don't go around punching trees the entire game, do you? Shovel, like maybe one of those cool collapsible ones. Leatherworker's tools, smith's tools, and tinkerer's tools. And of course, a backpack with a bedroll, torches, and food rations. And, if the DM allows, a bag of holding. If you played any amount of Minecraft, you know that inventory space is critical, and the game provides you with things like shulker boxes and ender chests, so a bag of holding is totally within character. If the DM will not let you start with a bag of holding, then talk with them and let them know that is something Steve will be looking to acquire throughout the campaign, by either buying it or as a loot item. And lastly, because I'm lazy, I'm going to use the standard array of scores the handbook provides for my ability scores, found on page 38. 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8. Alright, let's start creating our first build, Steve the Barbarian. This character build, in my opinion, is the best for anyone who is new to role-playing games. It is a great introduction to learning combat and the general mechanics of D&D, without too much other special abilities or spells getting in the way. So for our Barbarian ability scores, we're going to have Strength as the highest, followed by Constitution, then followed by Dexterity. I would recommend making Charisma the lowest. Since Steve doesn't talk in Minecraft, it would make sense that he would have little to no social skills in D&D. We're also going to choose Nature and Survival skill proficiencies. For level 1, Steve is a Weapon Master. He is proficient with simple and martial melee weapons. But whenever finishing a long rest and completing practice drills with chosen weapons, he can have any one of those weapons as his choice. So, Steve takes a hand axe to start. He can take a long rest, practice for a bit, and he can switch to a greatsword. Steve will also have the Rage ability and unarmored defenses. So, if he is not wearing armor, he will get a boost to his defenses. We'll circle back to that one when we're looking at armor options. At level 2, Steve gets the Danger Sense ability, giving him an advantage on dexterity saving throws. He will also gain the Reckless Attack ability, allowing him to have advantage on attack rolls, with the trade-off of the enemy also having advantage on attack rolls against him. At level 3, we'll choose the Barbarian subclass, Path of the Berserker. This will give Steve the Frenzy ability, allowing him to deal extra damage on those reckless attacks while raging. Steve will also gain another skill proficiency from the Barbarian Core Trait skill list. All of these skills on this list relate to Steve in Minecraft, so this choice will also be yours. But for this video, I will add Animal Handling. At level 4, we can either improve an ability score by 2, improve 2 abilities by 1, or forgo the score improvement and take a feat. If you want to improve one ability score by 2, Strength is going to be the best option. If you want to improve 2 ability scores by 1, you'll want to pick Strength and Constitution. And if you want to take a feat, choose any one of the following: Chef, Shield Master, or Savage Attacker. And lastly, at level 5, we can now take an extra attack and we gain fast movement, which will grant us 10 more feet of movement when we're not wearing heavy armor. After applying all the modifiers and skill increases from the class, feat, and background, it's time to pick our weapons and armor. The primary weapon choice for Steve is going to be a short sword, battle axe, or a trident. A standard vanilla Steve will wield a short sword, but I'm not gonna lie, a trident would be pretty epic. So, for added flavor, I'll equip my Steve with a trident. Now, the armor can get a little tricky. Normally in Minecraft, having armor is a must to survive, but D&D rewards barbarians that don't wear any armor. Since this video, we're going to be trying to stay true to the Steve in Minecraft, we'll be giving him leather armor to start out with. To give a boost to our AC, I'll also equip a shield. Once you have the basics of the Barbarian Steve built, here is how you might roleplay him. The Barbarian version of Steve's overall goal for the campaign is to become the greatest warrior in all of the realm. Therefore, Steve has this need to fight creatures and monsters and will never back down from a fight, which could also be his flaw. He treats every fight as if it's a fight to the death. Now, if you're experienced enough with role-playing and want a little bit of a challenge, then don't talk while in character. Or at the very least, have very minimal talking. Steve does not talk in the game, and therefore really shouldn't talk in D&D if you wanted to stay true to the Minecraft Steve. Remember, you can either gesture or write things down to still communicate with other people. Our next build is Steve, the Ranger. To start off, we're going to put the highest ability score in Dexterity, followed by Wisdom, followed by Intelligence, with Charisma, again, being the lowest. You're going to want to choose Nature, Survival, and Animal Handling for skills. So at our first level, we will have spellcasting abilities. Because we're building this at a 5th level character, Steve will have the following spells prepared. At first level, he will have Animal Friendship, Hunter's Mark, Jump, Long Strider, Speak with Animals, and Good Berry. His second level spells will be Beast Sense and Find Traps. At level 1, we also get Favored Enemy, which for level 5, we can have 3. I would recommend choosing Zombies, Skeletons, and Dragons. If you know the DM is going to incorporate Minecraft monsters, then I would definitely pick from those monsters instead. And if you didn't know that you can add Minecraft monsters to a D&D campaign, then you should totally check out this video here to see if they're worth adding to your campaign or seeing if the DM will add them. And just like the Barbarian, we also have Weapon Mastery, but only for 2 weapons of your choosing. For Steve, I would recommend 1 long-range weapon, such as a longbow or crossbow, and a melee weapon, such as a short or long sword. At level 2, we gain expertise on a skill that we are proficient at, which means it'll double the proficiency bonus for that skill. And we also get to learn 2 languages. I'll let that be your choice. At level 3, we will choose the subclass Gloomstalker. Being that Steve is consistently mining, he would feel right at home in dark places. With this subclass, we gain a handful of other abilities, which I am only going to summarize here for you. Dread Ambusher. This provides you different bonuses and abilities in combat. We also get special spells related to the Gloomstalker subclass. So at level 3, we gain the spell Disguise Self. And at level 5, we gain the spell Rope Trick. Lastly, we get Umbral Sight, which gives us dark vision if we don't already have it, or if we do, it increases it to 60 feet. Gloomstalkers also become invisible in complete darkness to creatures that rely on dark vision to see in the dark. And Gloomstalkers are also adept at evading those creatures as well. And at level 4, just like the Barbarian, we can either improve an ability score by 2, improve 2 abilities by 1, or take a feat. If you want to improve 1 ability by 2, you'll want to choose Dexterity. And if you want to improve 2 abilities by 1, choose Dexterity and Wisdom. And if you want to forego the ability score improvement and take a feat, choose from any one of the following: Chef, Alert, Crossbow Expert, or Sharpshooter. And at level 5, we'll gain an extra attack during combat. Moving on to weapons and armor, Steve will be wearing anything in the light or medium armor categories. For this video, we'll have Steve wear leather armor, but if you want the higher DC, then choose anything from the list on page 219 of the handbook. Minecraft has similar armor pieces, so anything you choose will still fit the character. And the weapon for this build is a pretty obvious choice. Your primary is going to be a bow or a crossbow, and you can carry a dagger or a sword if you feel like you need a secondary weapon. So to roleplay Steve as a ranger, you're going to play him as the general adventuring type. This Steve build was based around the exploration side of Minecraft. Some overall goals for the character could be that they want to find a lost treasure and be a treasure hunter of sorts. Or maybe they want to be the hero who slays a great beast and saves a town. Or they're wanting to discover a new land that no one has ever treaded before. The choice is yours. Just like the Barbarian, if you're experienced enough in role-playing and want the challenge, don't talk while in character. Moving on to the final Steve build, the Artificer. This build was voted on by community members in a poll that I did a while ago to see what D&D class they thought Steve should be. There are two ways that you can build Steve as an Artificer: potion making focused or tinkering focused. For this video, I'm going to try to do a little balance of both. Before we jump into this build, I just want to preference that this will be one of the more advanced builds because it uses an expansion titled Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Additionally, I do realize that this is a 5e expansion and I'm using the 2024 Player's Handbook. I don't know if this class from the 5e expansion is interchangeable with the 2024 Handbook or not, but I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway, so deal with it. Now, as an Artificer, we will need to put the highest ability score in Intelligence, followed by Constitution or Dexterity. That'll be your choice. But again, we're going to put Charisma as the lowest. For skills, choose Sleight of Hand and Arcana for both your proficiencies. For level 1, we gain Spellcasting. Because we're building a 5th level character, Steve will have the following spells prepared. Cantrips will have Mage Hand and Mending. Our first level spells will be Detect Magic, Feather Falling, Purify Food and Drink, and Tasha's Caustic Brew. Or, if your DM allows, Snare from the expansion titled Xanathar's Guide to Everything. Our second level spells will be Arcane Lock and Enhance Ability. At first level, we'll have Magical Tinkering. There's a set of 4 tinkering abilities that Steve will be able to do as an action. At level 2, we get what is known as infusions. Steve will know 4 infusions, but can only have 2 infused items at a time. Our Steve will have the following known infusions: Homunculus Servant, Armor of Magical Strength, Enhanced Defense, and Enhanced Weapon. The 2 infused items will be your choice. At level 3, we get to choose what kind of subclass of Artificer Steve will become. For this build, I'm going to take the Alchemist subclass. There is no D&D subclass of Artificer that directly aligns with a Redstone builder. But to get as close as we can roleplay this Steve more as a Tinkerer. You may also want to talk to your Dungeon Master and see if they're willing to work with you on how Redstone could be added to the campaign. With our Alchemist subclass, at level 3, we get Tool Proficiency with Alchemist supplies that we don't already have. If we do, pick another artisan tool that you can be proficient at. We get access to alchemist spells. If any of the new spells appeal to you from that list, feel free to switch them out with the previously mentioned spells. We also get experimental elixir. After finishing a long rest, you can magically produce an experimental elixir in an empty flask you touch. You can either roll a d6 to see which elixir you produce, or, for added roleplay challenge, you can have the DM roll and not tell you what that elixir is. At level 3, we gain the skill Right Tool for the Right Job. With Thieves' Tools or Artisan's Tools in hand, you can magically create any set of Artisan tools. At level 4, just like the previous 2 builds, we can either improve an ability score by 2, improve 2 abilities by 1, or take a feat. If you want to improve 1 ability score by 2, you'll want to choose Intelligence. If you want to improve 2 ability scores by 1, pick Intelligence and Dexterity. And if you want to choose a feat, take one of the following: Keen Mind, Chef, Observant, or Poisoner. At level 5, we gain the Alchemical Savant ability. Whenever you cast a spell using Alchemist supplies as a spellcasting focus, you can add your Intelligence modifier to any roll that restores hit points, or be a damage roll that deals acid, fire, necrotic, or poison damage. And the bonus equals your Intelligence modifier. For weapons and armor, the Artificer Steve will be wearing anything from the light or medium armor categories and can wield simple weapons. This Steve will be wearing leather armor. But just like the Ranger, if you want a higher DC, feel free to choose a different armor type. Now, the Artificer is more of a support class, and the primary combat tactic will be to heal and buff party members while harming or distracting the enemy using elixirs, contraptions, and spells. So our choice in weapon really doesn't matter a whole lot. Since we are trying to stay close to Minecraft as possible, a crossbow, short bow, or a dagger will work just fine. To roleplay Steve as an Artificer, you're gonna want to focus on supporting the party in combat primarily, but you'll also excel at out-of-combat challenges, such as setting traps, picking a lock, or doing a reconnaissance mission to gain more information on your enemy. As an artificer, one of your goals could be to innovate and develop new technologies that push the limits of your party's potential. If you're working with your dungeon master to incorporate redstone into the campaign, an overarching goal you might have would be to research what redstone is and how it's used, in a quest to become a redstone master. And of course, if you want that added challenge, don't speak while in character, just like the other builds. But with the unique skills you have available as an artificer, you might find it easier to communicate and relay messages to your party members. We've explored the fascinating possibilities of 3 different classes Steve can become: Barbarian, Ranger, and Artificer. Each class offers a unique lens through which to view Steve's adventure, and each brings their own flavor to the table. But whichever character build you choose for Steve, remember, the fun lies within the stories you create and the adventures you have with your friends. If you've enjoyed this video, please give that subscribe button a high five, and share your own D&D character ideas for Steve in the comments below. If you want to see more of what I do in Minecraft, check out this video here, and may your rolls always be successful. See you later!